You're late. Hi, I'm Karen Detweiler, and I work up in the library. It's a volunteer position, along with Diane Alexander and Joan Hensel, Mary Lou Hetzler, and Fran Nichols does all of our decorating. Okay. And if anyone is interested in helping, especially people that aren't afraid of the computer, that would be a good thing. We're starting to get busy enough that we could use, a little help up there. So come and see me after the talk, and we can go through that. So today we're going to go through how the library works. It doesn't work like your normal public library because we're open 24/7. You can go get a book any time of the day or night that you want to. We don't have a full-time librarian to check you out, so we still use the old-fashioned card in the back of the book method of doing things. And we don't just have books, we also have CDs for music, we have audio books, we have large print books. If you need a CD player, I have a couple of CD players that I loan out if you need one in order to listen to a book. And all you have to do is get in touch with me and I'll make that available to you. Okay, and on Tuesday mornings, I'm up in the library from 8:30 until about 10 or 11, depending upon how much stuff is going on. And I help people with their cell phones or their tablets or their computers. I even do house calls if your printer in your apartment is having a problem. So if you need any help, I'll do my best. I'm not an IT specialist, but I can at least point you to one if I can't fix your problem. But I think lately, I've been having about a 90% success rate. So we are open 24/7. We don't have there's no individual accounts either. So, everything is under one account, like, user number 2. We're up to 2 because number 1 had too many books out too long. Okay, so we still use the card in the back. And all you have to do is put today's date and your name so that we know who has taken the book out. And then you'll put it in the little box, and I have a picture of that a little bit later on to show you where to put that little card. Please remember that the card is not a bookmark. You can't keep it. If we don't know that the book is out, it sort of messes up our inventory. Okay. We also have magazines that can go out, and they're on the right side of the hallway there as you come in. Oh, I should tell you where the library is. I've had a number of people that tell me that they had no idea that we had a library or where it was. If you go up to 3rd floor in the elevators and hang a left, the dining room is right in front of you, and keep going to the left, and you see this ramp that goes up this dark alley. I really think I'm going to have to put in a work order to get a little bit more lighting up there. And that little nook and cranny in the corner is where the library is. I think it might have been an afterthought because it's a very odd-shaped little room. But that's where all of our books are, and that's how you find it. Okay. Let's see. Over here is where you sign the books out, and you put the cards in this little box after you put your name and all on it. And I usually have a calendar up there so you know what the date is. And then the book returns is right outside the library door. Before you enter the library, there's a little box out there that you can put the books in to return them. Magazines are different. Our magazines are up along the wall, and don't put them, when you return them, do not put them in the box because they don't take a lot of abuse, okay? And up here is a little notebook where you sign out magazines. They don't have cards, and you just sign them out there, and you can sign them in and put them back on the shelf yourself when they come back. So this is, this little pedestal there is where you sign them out, and the book return box is where you put them back in. Please don't put other libraries' books in our box. That happens a lot. I'm on a first-name basis with all the local libraries around here. And I occasionally have to take them back to Solderton Mennonite Church or Indian Valley, or I'll have the book, the Montgomery County libraries. Thankfully, the bookmobile will take care of that for me. I don't have to run all over for that. But in the back, where the cards are in the books, is our stamp that says Solderton Mennonite Home. So you should know which ones are ours. Okay? Okay. You can also find out from the comfort of your living room what books are available. We have on the Uniguest app, which I hope you all have, and that's one of the things I help people set up in the library on Tuesday mornings, is getting into their Uniguest. And down at the bottom on the left is the library. And if you click on that link, it takes you to the menu page for our card catalog. We no longer have an old-fashioned catalog with all, the rows and rows of cards to see what's in the library. You literally just, go to the menu page here, and if you want to find a book, you just have to put some keywords into that search bar. Like, say you wanted, I know that there's a book out there called Uncle Tom's something, or was it Fred? If you just put in Uncle and Cabin and Fred, it'll pick up all the books that have those words in its title. So you go, oh yeah, it was Uncle Tom's Cabin, not Uncle Fred. And you can also look up authors, and if you can't remember their name, and I have a terrible time with names, I'll say, oh, I know that their first name was Danielle, but what's the last name? We only actually have one author who's named Danielle, and that's Danielle Steele, and we have a half a dozen of her books. And you can search on a subject, too. Just put in whatever terms for a subject that you're looking for. Like, say it was history. We got a lot of books about history. And once you find the book that you want, right there will tell you where to find it. This book by John Ruth is in the 900s in nonfiction, and it's under RUT. So you should be able to find the book that way. If you ever have any trouble finding a book, just leave me a note. I'll find it for you. And if I can't find it, maybe we can order it in. So if you just put a Post-it note back at the very last computer in the line of 3 computers that we have, I do that, and I deliver. so just let me know. We'll try to get you hooked up with the book that you want. Okay, in that back corner of the library where I sit with my computer, putting books in and putting books out, there are shelves. And the top shelf of those shelves are free books, to swap, or you can just take one if you don't have one to swap. And they come from the donations, because sometimes people donate us books that we already have, or that aren't appropriate, for the library, because like a yearly devotional, you can take that out. You're going to want to have it for the whole year, so it's not really a library book, worthy book. And, sometimes there's just things that just don't seem too exciting, at least to me. So I put them on the swap shelf, and then after a while, if nobody still doesn't want it, even if it's free, they go to Care and Share. So when you do donate books, there's the second shelf down is down here, and it says books to donate to the library. Please put the books that you want to donate on that shelf. When people leave them next to the computer, we don't know if they're donations, if you left them there by mistake. So they sort of raise a question as to, why are these books here? Where did they come from? And it's always nice also if somebody will leave a note when they have a donation, and so that we, definitely know it's a donation. And once again, once it's donated to the library, we do with it what we want, okay? It's ours to either give to Care and Share, to put on the shelf, or to put on the swap shelf, okay? On occasion, people have said, I'll donate this book, but, if you don't want it, we're going to take it back. And I said, well, then take it back now. So, because I just can't keep all that in my head. Okay. Let's see. So, as far as the computers are up there, we also all three computers are currently connected to the big printer there, so you can print things from our computers. And in the near future, the very first computer that you come to is going to be taken out and replaced with shelves, because I rarely see all 3 computers being used at the same time. And I'd say for the past 4 years, I have never seen all 3 computers used. And I think a lot of that is because most of the people coming in bring their own computer with them, or they use their cell phone or their tablet, and they only, use the computers up in the library if they have to, for something that they want to print out from like an email or something like that. But because of that, we're going to soon just have 2 computers. And to be honest, I rarely see both computers, 2 computers being used at the same time either. You have access to all 2 of them, but the one that we use, on Tuesday mornings, we have a note there that, please don't use this one on Tuesday morning because, I'm going to be using it for what I need to do. Okay. The other thing is when you'll see books there that to be reshelved. You can take a book from there if it's to be reshelved, if you see it and you like it. But don't reshelve your own books. When you bring a book back to the library, don't go and put it on the shelf because it has to be logged into the computer first so that we know that it came back. With, as I mentioned before, with magazines, that doesn't, necessarily fly. Okay. The other thing is that I do not censor books. Okay, I think everyone here is old enough to know what you want to read and can determine that on yourself without me saying, oh no, that one has sexy parts. Okay, so, if you think a book is too racy, don't read it. But actually, it's one of the things that a number of people have come up to me and said, I'm so glad you have Danielle Steele on the shelves now, or, they're happy to have more than just Amish romances. Okay, we have a lot of Amish romances. They're probably the books that go out the most. Okay. All right. Last time when we had questions, somebody mentioned whether we would have newspapers. Newspapers really wouldn't work with our setup because we don't, like I mentioned, we don't have a full-time librarian to take care of a daily newspaper and have it out there, for people to read. We have the North Penn Reporter here in the lobby, the main lobby here. So we're not going to do anything with newspapers. We have enough to do. Okay. And also on the piano here, we have a pamphlet on how to use the library, and it has all the information in it that I've just gone through. So let's see, are there any questions? I haven't been doing anything in particular. I was thinking it would be nice if I wanted to take on one more task to put new books in the library in the Summit News when it comes out. And if I ever get too bored, I will do that. But I've been keeping pretty busy. If somebody else wants to do that, I can give you a list of the new books. And in fact, they're all, the new books that come in are in that first, here, let me find it for you. Okay, over there, this whole bookshelf is new books that just came in. And this is the beginning of the biography section. So, but as far as other PR for the library, it's basically word of mouth. And I have noticed it's gotten busier and busier and busier. So either we're having a lot more literate people come in or something. But it has gotten quite busy.
I wasn't advocating for you to
yeah.
That a book could come in that would be of a fairly large, a wide interest, and if that book could be somehow highlighted in the next Summit News or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you maybe put a list of recent arrivals in the Summit News. Otherwise, the party will have to go to the library, check it out, but we can pique their interest, and if nothing else, they know that the library is getting new arrivals.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we have new arrivals all the time, and I can definitely assign you that task.
I'm just giving some tests right now.
Yeah.
I'm not right.
Okay.
But there are certainly people here that could do that without too much trouble.
Yeah, and like I said, if anybody wants to help in the library, come and see me, and I will find you things to do. Joyce?
Here's another idea, more work, of course, but how about inviting an author to come to the library and have like a little party or something, drop in, open house with an author?
Have you been in our library?
I know, but I mean, just to
Yeah. Well, we have had, with, what's it called? The continuing education that we have here, the Living Branches.
live at you.
Living You. When they have authors that come in, we often get their book in ahead of time so that people can read it. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and Mary Lou Benner will make that will tell the people that are signed up for it that it's up there. And whenever somebody has a book that they really want, they leave a note on my desk. I'll see if I can't get it ordered. With Amazon, you can get them within a day or two. So that works out. Yes, Diane.
There is a program in May that has an author. It's on the calendar.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that we could really host anything in our library. It's so tiny. And where would people sit? There's like 5 chairs.
Julie Henning come.
Yeah, Julie was here. And the woman that wrote Cast, about her, well, I can't remember her name now. And the dog sleds, yeah, we had his book here too.
Maybe we could get Henry, because he has his book in here.
Yeah, his book goes out a lot. Oh, that's a good point. Near the second computer station, we used to put the new books in a rack there, but we had so many more new books coming in that I moved them to their own shelf. And now in that rack, we have all the local authors and local interest books. So I try to keep, I sort of revolve them around. And so we have, Henry Rosenberger's book, and the Berge Carr book is in there. Yeah. So, and John Ruth's book. So, any other questions? But no, there's all good ideas, and we just have to see how we can make them work. This is a short presentation, but that's okay, short and sweet. Oh, and if you want, on the piano are pamphlets that have the information. And I'll have, I'll take some of those up to the library, and they'll be in the racks as you go out the door. Oh, that's another thing. As you go out the door to the right, we used to have, people would bring the bulletins from their church and put them up in those racks so that people could see what had happened in their church that week. So that's something that I think would be nice to restart. So, all right.
Karen, you're amazing. Back to a librarian. I mean,
Well, I was always a reader.
fortunate to have you.
Thank you. Well, my mom taught me to read when I was 4. Thank you.